Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful night. So it is year 5, Harry Potter, and the Order of the Phoenix. And with me, I got the Ambassador, Mads Mama Bear, and the beautiful Lorena Creel back from her magical vacation at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Yes.
Unfortunately, AFK Bard will not be with us in the panel, but she did say she'll drop by and chat. She's with us in spirit, and so is Moira Kitty, because she wasn't feeling well. So hopefully they get better, and AFK drops by. Always glad to see him, and always glad to chat with him. And it's always glad to chat with this panel, because this panel is a lovable panel. So, with that being said, let's get started on Harry Potter 5, Order of the Phoenix, and it starts on a blisteringly hot, sunny day, which was actually in the book as well. I kind of imagined it a little bit different in the book, but the way they have it pretty much sums it up. Harry is on a swing, seeing mom with her kids, kind of just saying, God, I wish I had a mom right now. But then Dudley shows up with his little gang of douchebags, and Harry tries to get one up on him, but Dudley turns it around back on him real quick, and he's like, shut up, shut up. Then he just walks up to him, puts his freaking wand right up against him. He's like, Dudley knows. Everybody else is laughing, but Dudley knows. He's like, oh, shit. I kind of crossed the line. But everybody else is laughing. It's like, and then that's when the storm comes in, and what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. And so everybody else just runs. So they get out under, I'm guessing it's like a bridge or something, but
yeah,
it's more like a tunnel.
It looked like a tunnel.
Yeah. So they get out of the rain, and it starts getting all cold, and everybody knows what that is. And they zoom in on Harry, and then Deadface, or one of the dead ones, the Dementors, grabs him, puts him up against the wall. Now, what they should have done to basically point out that Muggles cannot see Dementors was show the Dementor there holding Harry, or then go to Dudley looking at it, and then seeing that there's nothing holding Harry there. It would have been a perfect explanation shot that Muggles cannot see Dementors. So then they just do the worst kind of cut. I mean, this was one thing that I did say that in my brief review, folks, that the movie does have good cinematography for the most part, but the beginning of it where you see Dudley just kind of just take off, it's like that's they could have did that a little bit better. Also, his reaction to the Dementor when it's sucking the habit. I'm like, what are you doing? So, what are your guys' thoughts on it? On the Dementor attack in the hole?
Ladies?
Well, I thought it was kind of weird. Hey, AFK. Granted, I'm just watching the movies. It just seemed kind of strange to me that the Dementors would show up where Muggles are.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless I didn't know looking at if Muggles could see them or not, because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, we've only seen them like at Hogwarts, so why are they here? So they're like, okay, they'll explain that a little better. It was an okay scene. I mean, you knew something was going to go down. Dudley and his chav buddies is kind of weird, but it wasn't a mind-blowing scene. If anything, it was just there to just advance the introductory action and pose the question out there of a Dementor actually attacking a Muggle and how Harry deals with that, and knowing that he's not supposed to use magic outside of Hogwarts. So what's going to happen then?
Yeah. If you ask me, he acted straight on instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because
It's like, what are you going to do? Just stand there and, let Dementors, even though,
Tell ya.
your cousin's an asshat, and you're really going to let him, die to Dementors? Nah, not really. Not really.
Yeah. I mean,
the newest,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say the newest Adams cousin asshat.
As an asshat.
Yeah. So
I think AFK kind of put it right. Spell check changed his name to Diddley, and I'm not going to correct it because he's a jerk.
let me get the live chat going on my thing. That way I'm seeing everything. There we go. Wow. Okay, so it's only 3 people or 2 people in chat, you and AFK.
Yeah.
That's great. I did make AFK a moderator. Well, she deserves
Yes, you
it.
did.
And so one of the things that was different in the book was Harry was feeling for his wand. He didn't crawl up to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of in the book, and I totally actually hate J.K. Rowling doing this, kind of put a Star Wars Force moment in there where he was feeling for it and just wanting it to come to him, and it just comes to him and finds it into his hand and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, no. What's up, Price is Right with you?
Well, if I may, in defense of that, could he have just thought the Accio charm and had the wand come into his hand of him instead of actually him speaking it? Because oftentimes we see wizards do magic, but they don't actually pronounce the particular spell or charm that they are trying to produce. So it could work.
You're talking about nonverbal.
Yeah,
It does work. It does require a fair amount of focus. That he would have definitely the focus. Maybe not so much the focus, but the will to command it there.
So
at that point.
Yeah.
So much Star Wars, just
the
advancement of world.
The wizard did it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So then, after he dispels the Dementors with the Patronus, or gets rid of them, what's her name? I just blanked on her name.
Petunia.
No,
not
no.
the old lady.
No.
The little old lady.
Yeah. Now, what they do not make known in the movie, which is a mistake in my opinion, because they should have actually. This should have been something that they pointed out in the movie. She's a squib. Now, for people who don't know what squibs are people who are born with magic but cannot perform magic, basically. And Filch from Hogwarts is a squib.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, that's why he's generally so peevy at the kids.
That's why Filch is the way he is. If we go off the movies, there's a lot of silent spells that are getting lobbed around near the end of the series. I think it was more out of laziness, since they say it's really hard to do wordless spells. She's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
She is absolutely right. And they actually, I think it's year 6, so we'll save that for next stream, that they actually start teaching about nonverbal spells, because I believe that is a defense against the dark arts when Snape is victorious, shall we say. But that is for year 6. Year 5, so he basically drags Dudley, and Dudley's just looking out. But what's her name? I still can't. Mrs. Finn or Fig or something. I can't remember her damn name.
Fig.
But
Fig.
Fig.
Yeah. She is a squib, and she's always trying to look out for Harry. But the way the movie does it, it's like after you know who killed that poor Diggory boy, Dumbledore thought it was best to keep an eye on. It's like, so what? She's only been watching him for a year. That was it? No, she's been there. If you read the books, or if you're a book or fan of the books as well, she has always been there. She hasn't always treated Harry kindly, but she has treated him with more respect than the Dursleys. And he actually asks her, why did you, or why were you mean a couple of those? And she's like, I couldn't give away what I was. I couldn't let you have too much fun, because it would kind of tip the Dursleys' hands, and then, well, they would never let me watch over you. And that would have been very fun to see, to have a little bit more exposition and background of world building in the Wizarding world. But I can understand time constraints and pacing. So then they have, they get him back into the house. Tinnykins, was that you? And their reaction, who did this to you, boy? You see Vernon Dudley, the actor. No, the actor's passed away. Rest in peace. But he was not a small man. Goddamn, he would have given Professor Slughorn in the book a run for his money. But yes, he's like, happy, are we? You finally did it. You finally drove him loopy. And freaking Petunia's like, Vernon, don't say that. And she's like, well, look at him. Our boy has gone yuppie. It's like, I just love these British terms.
British slang terms, yeah.
Yeah. Our boy has gone yumpy. I'm like,
the heck is that?
What's yumpy? I want to know more. And so, yeah, that's when the owl crashes the place and whatnot. Now, I believe it is the fifth one.
Yes, it is.
Where Petunia actually got the howler. Because after yes. It and they didn't show it, which sucks, because that would have been a perfect thing. Where Harry gets the howler from the Ministry, from Mafalda Hopkirk. And I just love what it says. Hoping you are well. I mean, yeah, we hope you're well, but you're still expelled.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm expelled. I'd light that sucker right up. But then, yeah, he's like, justice. And
there was a piece in the book in that scene that I was really sad that they didn't put in. It was when they're doing that, and that whole, well, what did you do? And he looks at him and said it was Dementors. And I don't remember whether she admitted to knowing it or she blanched, but that was our first indication. She knew more about the magical world than she let on.
Yes. I do remember that in the book. Freaking Vernon's calling them Dementids, Dementoids, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And she's like,
no Dementors, sweetie.
Yeah, she's like, Dementors. And he's like, looking at her like, wait, what? Price is Right. I was pondering this through a debate on Facebook. If you guys want to discuss, is Darth Nihilus similar to a Dementor or a Nazgul rider from Lord of the Rings? Darth Nihilus, I will do a small divergence here to answer your question, Price is Right. Darth Nihilus is neither Dementor nor Nazgul. The premise of the Darth Nihilus is he causes destruction and feeds off of it, where Dementors, they feed off the happiness that you have and basically leave you in a very depressed state and eventually weaken you to the point where they will just snatch your soul. The Nazgul, they create fear when they are around you. They literally invoke fear by their screeching, by their voiced by their presence. It's just the evil that is part of them that really invokes fear around you, and they can make you feel that fear and magnify it inside you. So to answer that, yeah. Dementoids leave you with an icy breath that can knock a date dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you got
funny.
that right. Yeah.
That's funny.
But yes, then Vernon in the book wants to kick him out, and that's when the howler comes in from Dumbledore, who we all know it is Dumbledore. Remember my last Petunia, which is a letter that that was the letter that was on Harry when he was left at their doorstep.
Yeah.
Now, they're just taking him to the hospital, and you see Mrs. Fig looking out the window, and Vernon's like, he's not very well. And something that, as Mads brought up, she knows about the Dementors, so you see her looking out and about. So many people would think, well, it's just more nonsense that she's scared of and whatnot, but there is a chance that she might actually be looking out for the Dementors.
Mhm.
So that is possible. And then Harry is stuck in his room, and everybody rescues him. Nymphadora, Kingsley Shacklebolt, Moody, and others. And you get an idea of who Tonks is. You were going to say something?
Do not call me Nymphadora.
Yeah, don't call me Nymphadora. And her hair goes from very pale pink to red.
I want mood hair, darn it.
Oh, so you want to be what do they call her? Not an animagus, but something else. She's a something magus. But anyway, where she can change looks, not into animals. Yeah.
I'm grateful my hair cannot tell you my mood. Yeah, no thank you.
Oh, if my hair could tell you my mood.
Yeah, no thank you.
But yeah, so they do the lovely little broom ride.
Metamorphagus.
Metamorphagus, yeah.
Yes.
Metamorphagus.
Oh, okay. Thank you,
Now,
Mads.
I gotta say, I love Moody's broom. I mean, he rides it like a freaking chopper, man.
Well,
Like a Harley motorcycle. And I'm like, I want that broom. I mean, I know I could never ride it, but I want it.
That would have been a huge
seller. That would have been a huge seller. And yeah. How you doing, Tommy? The guinea pig collective. Reading Mothos. That would have been a cute little spell there too. But yeah, folks, put a spell on that like button if you are coming or just joining us. So they do the little ride. Now, was it the Thames that they were riding over? Yeah, the Thames. And then they get the number 12 Grimold Place, which is a clever little play on words, grim old, but Grimold Place. And you see everybody discussing order business. Then you see Creature. One of the things I wish they had done was at least once showed Sirius's mom, the portrait, because she actually plays a slight role in the book of if you disturb the portrait too much, the thing that is over it, the little veil or whatever that's over it will come off, and she'll just start screaming and shouting. And then Sirius comes in, shut your mouth, woman! And she just looks at him with daggers. Yeah! And it's just, oh God. In the book, it's great. But then, this was not the best acting when Hermione jumps in to hug Harry. I mean, that's fine. But the way that she's just spinning off what's going on, they can't suspend you or expel you. It's not fair. There's going to be a hearing, and it's like she's saying stuff that she's always wanted to say because, well, Dumbledore's told them that they couldn't say anything. But to me, that could have just been a little bit better acted, in my opinion. So what did you guys think of the Grimmauld play scenes?
I pictured the houses unfolding a little differently than what they did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to explain how I pictured it differently, but yeah, it was a little. That was a little surprising for me. I'm with you. I would have liked to have seen at least a quick shot with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Hermione popping in, explaining everything, that just seemed typical Hermione for me. You know, from somebody who, like, we all know she should have been a Ravenclaw by every, absolute rights about it. She is like that, overflowing with information, and I have something I need to tell you now, and it's going to come out at like 500 miles a second.
Yeah. Got struck by
If anything, she did it too slow.
Yeah. And it also does explain in that scene, which is actually explained earlier in the book, that Harry hasn't been getting much news of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show the
Yeah.
Ministry is basically running a smear campaign on him and Dumbledore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And, I'll say I love the time in Sirius's house.
Yeah.
And because honestly, anything with Gary Oldman's is always a win. Sirius Black is by far my favorite character. He is him and Moody, and I'm like, you killed off Sirius and you're going to kill off Moody, and I hate you all for doing it because they're my two favorite characters. To hell with Harry. Okay, I don't mean this literally, but to hell with Harry Potter. I would rather spend more time with the cool ass pimp as hell wizards.
Yeah, the old guard, basically. Another thing they had actually done in this one was the many woes of Molly Weasley, the chapter where there's a boggart locked in a chest or a table or something, and they asked Mad Eye to see what it was, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a boggart." What does a boggart look like when it's not being viewed, or when it's not?
Interesting.
I always wonder. And well, she thought that she could handle it, and she ends up trying to get rid of it, and it turns out that she just sees her husband dead, Ron dead, Fred and George dead, Ginny dead, the many woes of Molly Weasley. We're just trying to take me. Oh my god!
Hey, okay, you should have been backstage before we started.
You just won the internet with that one.
She did.
AFK, we were talking about the exact same thing before we started.
Yes.
Dolores, I'm Dolores Jane. I'm Umbridge Lucy, and I go get my haircut whenever I want, and I look hideous.
Now, skipping forward a little bit to the train station where you see the dog. This is where continuity issues come in with the because as we all saw that it was a digital dog before in Harry or in the third movie, it's now just like a gruff goddamn, the dog just does not look as cool, you know? And I'm like, why did they change it? Why did they change it?
He kind of went from something that could have resembled a husky type or maybe a husky wolf crossbred, to an Irish wolfhound.
Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, I love Irish wolfhounds. I'm Irish myself, but it's like, be consistent, goddammit. And I blame Yates because David Yates directed the movie. So he gives the picture of the old guard of the old order to Harry, and you see two people Well, you see many people, but you see two people that you've not seen. Neville's parents, Frank and Alice Longbottom, and you learn about them in this movie. However, I believe you learn about them in the fourth. This is the fourth or the third book, where people go to St. Mungo's. No, it's the fifth book because they go to St. Mungo's to visit George Weasley from later on in the movie when he gets attacked by Nagini. Now, at the train station, Harry thinks he sees Voldemort himself in a lovely little suit, and I'm like, huh. Well, he does look sharp in that suit. And I'm like,
fine. Vold looks good in a suit.
Yeah, but looking like Voldemort in a suit, it's like, gosh, you look like you belong in a Men in Black movie.
Agent V.
Agent V. So they get to Hogwarts, and Dumbledore's giving him. Oh no, wait, we got to go to the hearing. Fuck, I forgot the hearing.
Yes.
So they take the visitor entrance, which is the phone booth. They get in there. They send him in. He's basically getting a full freaking criminal trial, which, as they're getting ready, then Dumbledore shows up.
Witness for the defense.
Jinx, you
Albus Wulfric Percival Brian.
Albus
Dumbledore.
Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Get it right.
Kiss my ass.
No comment. Anyway,
But
yeah.
they had switched up the hearing like hours early.
Yep. He was supposed to, or it was meant, or he was like a couple hours early, but then they switched it back to try to make him late, to try to put more blame on him.
Of course, fortunately, I arrived at the ministry 3 hours early.
Yeah, by a happy mistake, I arrived at the ministry 3 hours early, and you can just tell that Fudge is like, God fucking damn it. So then they read the charges out, and it's like, and they grill Harry, and he's like, oh, they did it because of the Dementor. Now, I cannot remember the woman's name, but she is actually a principal character in the books. She's like, Dementors and little whinging. And he's like, that's very clever. Muggles can't see Dementors, can they, boy? Which would have been perfect if they actually... Here's a good question. Where's Percy Weasley? I will answer that in a second. Which would have been perfectly explained with that scene that we told you in the beginning of the stream, where if it should have shown through Dudley's point of view that there's nothing there holding Harry up. Now, he's like, enough. And he just continues cutting off Harry. It's like, yeah, this is complete. I'm sorry. Small politics. This is fascism. Basically, this is fascism. This is making you guilty and wanting you to be guilty, so you're guilty. They want Harry shut up. They basically want Harry to be shut up so he's no longer a problem. And they want Wulfric. They want Dumbledore.
He has like 12 names. You would have gotten one right.
Yeah. Well, at least I got one of them. But yes, Percy Weasley was actually at that hearing too, because he's like not the undersecretary like Dolores Umbridge is, but
he's a coffee boy.
Yeah, he's basically the coffee boy. He's basically the minister's bitch. But yeah, speaking of bitch, but anyway,
can we please
off-stream, folks? It's an off-stream joke, folks. That you'll yeah. Anyway,
can we please get to the little prissy bitch?
Yeah, where Dolores Umbridge, she's like, or no.
Yes, when he talks about the Dementors being in Little Windling, that's the first time we actually hear from her. She goes, him.
Yeah. God, that is the most annoying sound ever. it's like she has Tourette's, or that she's just.
Wow.
I mean, seriously. No offense to anybody with Tourette's, folks. No offense to anybody with Tourette's, but holy crap, this woman it's like she just couldn't hold. It's like she was either really high and just couldn't hold it back, or was barely holding it back, or she was just, well, evil toad face. But she's like, so silly of me, but it sounds like as if you think the ministry authorized it. Here's the thing, folks. If you know Psychology 101, like I do, anyone who pipes up on something that is not truly known or relevant to the thing at hand tells you they know more than what they are saying. Umbridge piping up right there tells me, and saying that it's as if the ministry authorized an attack. Well, you're basically telling us exactly what you yourself have done, because you will find out later on, well, in the book, they don't really say it in the movie, that Umbridge did engineer the attack on Harry and with the Dementors. But Dumbledore thought it could have been Voldemort, and he tries to implore
comes right out and says it.
Yeah, he's like, there is somebody else who could have engineered it. And he's like, Cornelius, I implore you to see a reason. The evidence of the Dark Lord's return is incontrovertible. He's not back. And it's like, dude, you sound like you're about to have a stroke.
Yeah.
So that's when Dumbledore basically says, in the case of Harry Potter, the law clearly states that in life-threatening situations you can use magic. And not Dumbledore, but Fudge says the dumbest thing here. Laws can be changed if necessary. So what, you don't want people protecting themselves against deadly situations?
Against Dementors?
I
No,
mean,
not really.
No, you really...
Sounds like Congress.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Also,
Sorry.
Before the hearing, it's okay. But before the hearing, you also see Lucius Malfoy talking to Fudge, and he's like, "I'm sure you will do the right thing." And he's like, "Yes, well," and then they see it, and it's like, "Yeah, you know something shady's going on right there." I'm pretty sure that Fudge was basically trying to, or Malfoy was trying to bribe Fudge into getting Harry out of Hogwarts. What did you guys think of that?
Go ahead.
Of which? Any of it, or all
Specific?
Of it. Well, Dolores Umbridge, the woman who inspired a brand new spell. What a son of a bitch!
I'm gonna find what the actual spell is for that one.
Well, one of the slap a bitch spell basically manifests a hand that slaps the target until they are rendered unconscious. It's just a giant hand that goes until the target is rendered unconscious.
Yeah.
And then you can do it with the target as you see fit. Personally, I would have drug her into the dark woods and say, "Here, Centaur, she's all yours." Or I would have had Hagrid's big brother sit on her.
Well, he hasn't come in yet.
I know. Sorry,
Lorena, what did you think about the trial, trial?
I thought it was a kangaroo trial. I mean, honestly, you can tell that, that they're on a witch hunt and that they're covering something up, obviously. Yeah, I did say that. I said witch hunt. Excuse me?
Pun intended?
Oh, pun totally intended. Pun totally intended. But you could tell that it was a farce of a trial. They needed to cover up the idea that Voldemort was back. They didn't want anything getting out there about him being back. and they had to silence Harry in order to do that. So it was an obvious farce. I mean, it was fun. It's always interesting to see the Ministry of Magic. I always love seeing that building and kind of just like all the little things that they do.
Yeah.
But this time around, the Ministry of Magic did not seem so friendly.
No, it didn't.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it was interesting to have it start out with the Ministry of Magic is not exactly, it's like not exactly on the up and up there.
Yeah, I mean, you see that big thing of Cornelius Fudge, just like imperialistic looking. I'm like, really, man? That's just not right. That's screaming something that it shouldn't be screaming. But yeah, they also brought in Mrs. Fig is because you can't produce any witnesses to the event. As it happens, we can. And then you just see her sitting there, and they're like, describe the attack. What did they look like? Well, one was rather large, the other one was rather skinny.
That was funny.
Oh, well, big, cloaked, and it's like
Everything went cold.
Everything went cold, as if all the happiness had been sucked out of the world. And then that basically tipped everybody. Oh, come on! And that's when you see Fudge lose it. It's like, oh, come on! The odds of them showing up is astronomical. It's like, well, you're losing control, aren't you? But yeah. So then they
He does that a lot.
Yep. Then they vote to either convict or clear of all charges. And I just love how she actually specifies all charges. Isn't the Dementor there because he was working for Voldemort at that point, and the Ministry was trying to keep them under wraps. AFK asks this question. Basically, at the time of Voldemort's return, the Dementors, when they had become aware of Voldemort returning, it is explained that they were in a state of confusion. They didn't know, or because when he was in power at the time, the Dementors followed him. They were followers of him. So, to basically, because they were still under the control of the Ministry because of Azkaban and all, perfect breakout. Let's just say that. Perfect breakout weapon because, well, they didn't really do anything to stop anybody from leaving Azkaban because, let's face it, if they were still working for the Ministry, they would have killed Bellatrix Lestrange once she made the attempt. Now,
and the spell you're looking for is Flipendo.
Oh, nice.
Who?
Knocks an opponent backwards. Yes. Flipendo. Another one that would also work would be Bombarda. But yeah.
I kind of like mine.
Yeah. Want to slap a bitch.
It just kind of rolls up.
Put an O on the end of it. Put an O on the end of it. Want to slap a bitch?
No, put an A on it. Want to slap a bitch?
Yeah. Or an A. Yeah. There you go.
Smaculous. There you go.
How you doing, Mongo?
Hey, Mongo.
I can't see him in the chat, though.
When it came to that whole thing, I struggled when I was reading the book, trying to wrap my head around Umbridge. And then we went to go see it in the theater, which absolutely hilarious. Somebody's phone rang as the movie was starting, and somebody actually did shout Expelliarmus. I kid you not.
That's funny.
But as soon as she made that first, I'm sitting there right next to my roommate. I'm like, oh my God, it's your mom. Sorry.
Nice.
Suddenly she made a whole lot of sense to me.
So yeah, they get him all to Hogwarts, and then that bitch is there, and Grubbly Plank is back because Hagrid is on leave for health reasons, and, well, quote unquote health reasons. And then she interrupts Dumbledore, and it's like, really?
Yeah, that
Like,
that was
seriously,
just like,
really?
excuse me, who do you think you are?
Yeah. I mean, when I was reading that book, I was reading my aunt's hardcover edition for the first time. I almost threw that book. It's like, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing with that book?" I'm like, "I'm reading it," because it's. She's like, looked at me like you were about to throw it. I hate this bitch. She's like, "Oh, Umbridge. Yeah, keep reading." But yeah, she basically gives away the entire agenda, so to speak, folks. Yeah, we're talking about agenda of what the ministry is planning to do. Illuminating. What a load of waffle. What does it mean? What do you think it means? It means the ministry is interfering at Hogwarts. And oh dear God.
Yep.
Even that woman's wand is stubby. Ugh.
Yep.
Stubby and warty like a damn toad, woman. So they get to her class, and Padma Patil did a nice little bird that she just lights on fire just to be a bitch. And
once away, there will be no practicing magic here in this class.
And then Harry pipes up, "Students will raise their hands when they want to speak in my class." Like, really? Okay. Then she just continues to. Then she just continues to peddle her BS, and he's like, "Well, if we're gonna be attacked, it's not exactly gonna be risk free. Who would attack children like yourself? Oh, I don't know, Voldemort." And that's where you see her crack a little bit. And that's where you see her starting to lose her temper. Now, let me make this plain, very plain. You've been told that a certain dark wizard has or is at large once again. This is a lie. And
no, your face
like, what a lie. I fought him. And she's like, "Detention, Potter." "Oh, so according to you, Cedric Diggory just dropped dead of his own accord." Cedric Diggory's death was a tragic accident. Oh my God. And then he's like, "It wasn't an accident. Voldemort killed him. You must know that." Enough! I mean, I can't exactly do it in her voice. I'm a guy. But she gets really high pitched on that. She's like, "Enough!" And I'm like, all right. Yeah,
I would have kept pushing her buttons until she cracked right then and there. I would have driven that woman insane. The tragic. Sorry,
I will be right back. Just continue saying what you're saying. I have to take care of one thing really quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have driven that woman completely up a tree. She would have been like, "Cedric Diggory's death was a tragic accident." I would have been like, "No, your conception is a tragic accident, and your parents' marriage was a Greek tragedy."
Yeah, she had Fred and George Weasley trying to work on her all year.
I love Fred and George. Fred and George are my idol. They are my hero. They are the greatest thing in Harry Potter. Well, except for maybe Albus, Percival, Wulfric, Brian, Dumbledore, and Dolores Umbridge. If I could conceive of every possible torture imaginable, I would have done it to this woman. That's how much I detest her.
Well, that's how you know she's such a good character in the movies, because you just absolutely loathe her. Completely just loathe her. Even to the point of the clothes that she wears is in stark contrast to everyone else. It's like she sticks out on. It's like she sticks out, and not in a very good way.
She sticks out like a Okay, please forgive me for what I'm about to say. She sticks out like a genital wart.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. But
Granted, the only time I've seen one was in health class
Yeah,
in
those
high
can be gotten
school
rid of easily.
in a slideshow.
What have I
beyond
come back to?
Oh, the fact that I compare Dolores Umbridge's appearance to a genital wart
Oh,
from like a venereal disease.
And I come back to this.
Yeah.
From a venereal.
So AFK. If I'm the Defense Against the Dark Arts professor, what's ambassador?
Ooh, well, magical anatomy.
Head of Hogwarts security.
And thank
Head
you
of
for the
Hogwarts.
compliment, by the way.
Head of Hogwarts security. Umbridge wouldn't have gotten across the bridge. I would have been like, nope. But the ministry, I don't care. But the minister, I don't care. But I'm the defensive dark arts professor. You're the defensive dark arts?
You're pink.
Get me Albus. Get me Snipe. Get me somebody. No way in hell this prissy little princess is going to be defense against anything. The only thing she's defense against is common sense. You ain't teaching here. So pack your little prissy cat plates and pack your butt back to the ministry. And by the way, why don't I just chuck you off the bridge and everything while we're at it? Save everybody a lot of trouble.
Oh, you really hate this. You got a lot of internalized misogyny.
No, I am at this moment. I am channeling my grandmother. My grandmother would have hated this character if she had been alive to see this movie. She'd have been like, my grandmother. I'm gonna go on camera for this. Come on, son of a bitch. Sorry. My grandmother would have been like, no, you're not coming into this castle. Hell no, you're not coming to this castle. Yes, my grandmother sounded like Chris Tucker from Rush Hour. Yeah.
She was the transfiguration teacher. Sorry.
Yeah, McGonagall was transfiguration. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Now,
thank you, AFK. Thank you.
You don't take no shit. There you go. Yeah.
No,
Now,
I do not take no craps. I give no craps and I take no craps.
Well, she was yeah. Well, he would be transfiguration. That would have been a perfect one for him. Now, she gets Potter into detention, and this is the one thing that I really hate, man. This was something that made me as a kid, uncomfortable reading this book, where the quill that she uses, I call it the blood quill, because as he writes, it cuts into his skin. I must not tell lies. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, whatever he writes down, it gets embedded into his skin.
Yep. And I'm sorry, but if I was him, I would have. It's like, I'm sorry, this needs to go straight to the headmaster. I wouldn't care. It's like, open up, you freaking old man. Stop ignoring me for a second. I'm being tortured here, and it's not with the Cruciatus curse. But yeah,
Harry was right when Hermione said, "Well, you should go to Dumbledore." No, he's got enough problems with this on it already.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
let's face it. The Ministry had a massive hate on for both Harry and Dumbledore. Why? Because they were the only ones because they were the only ones hearing the truth, because Cornelius Oswald Fudge is a gutless wonder. And I hope he died of heart failure.
Probably
or
did.
Getting the life, no. or getting the life sucked out of him by a Dementor.
Yeah. Now, one of the things they didn't cover in the movie, which I wish they had, was Ron becoming a prefect.
I did not know that.
Yeah, in the 5th book, he actually gets a prefect badge, and Harry's kind of like wondering, he's like, why is Ron getting a prefect badge? But, well, Percy was a prefect, and he actually wrote a letter to Ron saying, cut off all ties with Harry Potter, or you're on the losing side if you keep on staying with him. And that just pisses off Ron. He's like, fuck my brother, he's an asshole. But also, Hermione is the female prefect, and there's just a lot of things in the movie that they didn't really put in there because of one reason or another, but they were still important enough to put in there, in my opinion. Which, if they ever do an extended edition of this movie, they really should, or I hope that those things are actually put in.
Mm-hmm.
Lorena is totally the charms professor and Orange's potions. No, I'm not a chemist.
Do they allow Slytherin to be the charms professor?
Honestly, I can see you being more potions.
Because I love that.
I mean,
honestly, I could see that.
I would definitely probably be one for Defense Against the Dark Arts. I either that or maybe a history of magic or something. I don't know, but yeah, definitely not potions. I mean, we are so.
Lorena's charmed almost every guy in the fandom.
Yeah, she's very charming. Let's face it, she is very charming. Lorena.
Well, she's also intelligent, which unfortunately, in certain portions of YouTube, is in short supply. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's like Judge Judy says, beauty fades, dumb is forever.
Yeah.
Love that
chick. Yeah, and Dolores Street Umbridge will always be a bitch.
Slytherin is the ultimate
tell you really, yes, thank you, AFK boy. It's so funny because in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, sorry, just to the side, when you go into the Weasley's joke shop in Diagon Alley, and it has like all the jokes and all the candy, on a wire, you see Dolores Umbridge, like a mini Dolores Umbridge, carrying two like cauldrons of water across her back, and she's screeching, "I will have order!"
Yeah.
Hilarious. I had to videotape that.
They actually put that at the Wizarding World.
Yes, they did.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Because that was also in the movie, or the 6th movie. Now,
I love it.
Then, basically, they talk to Sirius, and Sirius is basically giving them a little bit of a flu network. Now, the way they did flu powder in the 4th movie, where Sirius is talking to Harry, where he comes out of the fire, literally he's part of the smoldering and whatnot, and the difference in this one where his face is in the flames, I'm like, why isn't there any consistency? Sorry if I got too loud for headphones, but yeah. It's like, can't they continue to be, I don't know.
Honestly, I prefer seeing his face in the flames because I was trying to wrap my head around how his face became part of it. Like, is he shoving his face into the fire? And that sounds painful. You know?
Yeah. I mean, unless
honestly, honestly, for me, I think it was just a really cool effect. I mean, in the last movie. Beyond that, I'm not gonna worry about the whole consistency between the book and the movie. I mean, I understand why
in the movies, the consistency between the movies.
Okay.
Because he was using flu powder to talk to Harry in the 4th movie, as well as the 5th movie.
It was the flu network, not the flu powder.
Whatever. Yes, flu network. Don't whatever Mads, people. That's my advice to you all. Don't ever whatever Mads. because she'll whatever you right back with a fist. I felt that, Mads, by the way. Thank you.
Yes.
I remember. Did they establish in the movie how anybody can listen in on a fireplace conversation and it isn't entirely secure? They do. They actually do. They say that she's watching all the chimneys.
You're right. You're right. They do mention that towards.
But, and there is a thing, a second discussion that they have where you see her hand in the book, which I can actually feel, or which I can actually visualize in my mind, where
yes, but that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, sadly it wasn't, and it's like that would have been the creepiest, most horrific thing I had ever seen in a Harry Potter film. Even more horrific than Voldemort coming back. I mean, that's horrifying, seeing that hand just come out of the fire, reaching and whatnot. It's like, oh my God, get it away! It's pink.
Okay,
get away.
Okay, I don't know if we want to get into this yet, but can we get into the kids training? Because honestly, I love that whole section of the movie. That is such a great. That is a great section. The room of requirement, that whole sequence, that for me was just awesome.
Let's get into that because, before we do that, we got to get into the inquisitorial, or where she becomes High Inquisitor, because we're going to try to keep it in order here. She becomes High Inquisitor, and she starts going around the teachers asking Trelawney for a prophecy. Snape, she's like, "You first applied for the Defense Against the Dark Arts post."
Obviously.
Yes. And she's like, "And you were unsuccessful."
Obviously.
And Ron's just laughing.
Perfect.
And you see
Awesome.
Snape just smack him on the back of the head. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, and then she's up to Professor Flitwick, which I like I like his younger look. I mean, in the first two movies, you see him as older, bald, and white facial hair and whatnot. But in the third, fourth, and fifth, you actually see him looking more like Warwick Davis a little bit.
Yeah.
With the bowl cut and whatnot. And he's like, "Move those mouths." And it's like, what? And then she puts that damn tape measure right next. It's like, are you seriously right now? Okay. And I'm like, are you serious? You seriously just weighed a midget?
Yep.
Or not weighed, but measured a midget? No offense to anybody who is small in stature. I fully support. More horrific than kill.
I believe he's actually a dwarf in the book, but
he's I believe he's half and half. I believe he was half human, half not elf, but he's something. He's Professor Flitwick. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm a Ravenclaw. I'm looking it up.
Yeah. And so then she's like, just one teensy little prophecy, pity, and basically just wants to get rid of Trelawney. And they have, he's what?
Part goblin.
He's part goblin, okay. Well, they actually did have him playing a goblin earlier in the movie when they were at the Ministry. You see a goblin there, and that's actually Warwick himself in that makeup too. So he's actually two characters in this movie and other movies or earlier Harry Potter movies as well. Now, she's kicking Trelawney out, and Filch is just coming out with a gleeful look, just tossing her friggin' luggage right in front of her. And she's like, "I've taught here for 16 years and lived here for 16. You can't do this." She's like, "I'm afraid I can."
That just broke my heart. When
that
pick her out.
But McGonagall, when she steps in on that scene,
Mm-hmm.
Is there something you would like to say, Minerva? There's a lot of things I'd like to say.
Dolores.
Hold my earrings. That's all I'll say.
I would have said, you know what? Hold my witch hat. I'm going full dark arts on this bitch. But yeah, believe me, when Dumbledore came out, the cinematography for that scene, this is from my movie reviewer side, folks. The cinematography of Dumbledore, or the doors opening up and Dumbledore just coming out, it's like, oh, you know he's had enough of this woman. You know he's had enough of this. And he's like, would you, or Minerva, would you escort Sybil back inside? And he then puts Trelawney in her place. She's like, under educational decree number 23, he's like, you have the authority to dismiss my teachers, but you do not have the authority to banish them from the grounds. That that privilege still lies with the headmaster. And she just she goes right back out for now. And
for now.
Like, in this movie, basically, you understand that the odds are truly against Harry and Dumbledore. They are, or while Dumbledore can handle it really well, Harry is, well, slowly losing it, because we all know that something we haven't touched on, he's getting visions in his mind the connection between him and Voldemort is starting to open up and open itself to Harry. And so this is also something that happens now. Did the attack on Arthur Weasley happen before the introduction of Dumbledore's army or after?
I think it might have been before, at least in the movie it was.
Yeah, and so yes, he actually has, we'll get that, and then we'll definitely get into the training. Now, he's having the dream where Arthur is in the hall, or the Department of Mysteries in the Halls of Prophecy, and you see Nagini slithering in there and striking at Arthur. And now that I've seen Fantastic Beasts and know who Nagini is, I'll never see that snake the same way again. But he's brought to Dumbledore, and Dumbledore continues to refuse to look Harry in the eye. And you have to wonder, is it Harry's anger and frustration that gets him to yell at Dumbledore to look at him, or is it partly Voldemort? It makes you wonder. But it also answers it, because you hear the kind of whispering in his hair, or in his head, and his turning his head slightly to the side like he's cracking, look at me! And Dumbledore looks at him like, what the fuck? Everybody's looking at him, including the portraits, and Harry's like, what did I just do? Oh shit. What's happening to me? And that's when Snape comes in for occlumency lessons.
Yep.
The worst choice ever, but also the best choice too, because, well, he hates Harry. He's going to take incredible joy in torturing Harry by going into his head. But I absolutely love the way that he teaches him. He's like, so you're saying that he could read my mind? Read it, control it, unhinge it. And it's like, damn, dude, you seriously have a hard-on for the dark arts, man. And this is before you learn that he was indeed, or just how much he kind of admires the dark arts. And we all know that he was formerly a Death Eater, but...
Well, he was a double agent, but yeah.
He was a Death Eater before he was a double agent, and then he became a double agent.
Okay. I also wasn't aware of that. Or maybe they mentioned it in the last movie, I just forgot.
Yes. Now, they start going through that, and then Neville's getting picked on by Crabbe and Malfoy, or Crabbe and Goyle. I believe this is the last movie that you actually see Goyle in.
Yeah.
Because the actor, I think, got arrested. Or Crabbe got arrested because Goyle didn't. Yeah, Crabbe. The one that played Crabbe.
They did switch out the taller one during that movie.
Yeah. He got, or the one that Harry, the one that Ron was in episode, or in year 2 when they took the Polyjuice potion. He's the one that got arrested.
Yes.
Now
he did come back for the next movie, but
Yeah.
he wasn't able to finish off filming this one.
Yeah. So they that's when Neville discovers the room of requirement. And we get into the it's like, this is all so it's like a kid in a candy store, man. They found everything they needed and they started training, and they start Neville out. It's like stunning it or disarming is what we
The
need to
bread
start
and butter.
doing. Yeah, and he tries stunning him. It's like, well, first you put him in front of freaking mirrors. Of course the damn spell's gonna reflect. So he's like, I'm hopeless. It's like, you're just flourishing or the wrong way. Try it this way. Okay, there you go. So you see all the kids have it. Nigel, when they teach stunning, Nigel is just, he's like, stupefied, freaking stuns Harry and gets knocked back by his own damn spell.
Which
How
this
did
is
he
actually
get knocked back himself? Did he surprise himself, or was it just the
he
force
might
of it?
have. He might have. Well, and
When
here's the thing.
casting spells, you actually have to ready your own body as well for the blowback. It's similar to firing a gun.
Yeah.
Good point.
Well, and this particular part of the movie has one of my favorite quotes or anything from Harry. Remember, every witch and wizard started out exactly where we are now.
Yep.
They just anything. They just worked at it.
Yep.
And he's
if
like,
they can do it, why can't us?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Hey, ABC.
Hey, ABC. Good to see you.
Hey, ABC.
ABC, good to see you, buddy. What an ass, what a bitch, what a Harry Potter cuck.
Yes, but Harry Potter was not that.
This book broke me, by the way. I never forgave Harry for being a dumbass with his two-way mirror. Right! That's another thing they never brought into the movies was the two-way mirror.
Yes, because they didn't think anything of it at the time. And
Yep.
there she goes going, oh wait, no, this is important.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, man. I mean, because they put it in movie 7.1, part 1, but
And never explain where it came from.
yeah, it's like, where'd this come from? It's like, God damn it. Oh, but yeah, it's like, oh, seriously, come on now. But yes, they should have put the mirror in, or the two-way mirror.
Yes.
What an ass, what a bitch, what a cuck. Hashtag serious deserve what he got. I'll agree to disagree with you on that. I wanted him to live. But anyway, we'll get to that later. We're at an hour, so they're training, and we never got to Luna Lovegood or the Thestrals. Son of a bitch.
Well, we can touch on Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll touch on Luna.
Yeah.
Everyone, this is Luna, or this is Looney. It's like, Hermione, remember what you're not supposed to do. Bully. And it's like, everybody, this is Looney, and everybody, or she stops herself and everybody looks at her. Luna Lovegood.
It doesn't even phase her. I love that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
She's
like,
great.
She's like, yeah, I know.
She's just
Keep-
happy with being who she is.
yeah,
You know?
she accepts who she is. She knows that she's a bit odd to other people, but she
Then the ongoing joke that I absolutely love myself.
yeah.
You know, that's a interesting necklace. Oh, it's a charm. It keeps away the nargles.
All right.
I have loved that to the point where my daughter, you get those moments where you just trip over nothing. We blame that on the nargles.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to say this about Luna. That's the type of girl that you do take home to mom. And then your mom's like, she's wacky, she's odd, She's perfect for you. Marry her. Marry her. Marry her. Marry her.
Well, to be or to
from Harry Potter.
to actually tell you something that's not really book noticed. Everybody thought she was going to marry Neville Longbottom. She doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
She ends up with him at the end of the movie, sure. But who she actually marries is Newt Scamander's grandson.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was aware of that. Now, here's the other thing. This is the other thing. Yeah, he ended up with Jenny. He should have ended up with Hermione. I would have been just as happy if Harry had ended up with Luna. Can you imagine her as a mom? She'd be an awesome mom. Come at me if you come at me. I don't care. I think Luna and Harry.
Yeah, I don't know. She'd be the smart ass blame, telling people that they're tripping over Nargles. That just sounds familiar.
Now, I'm literally sitting in front of a lot of flowers that are dying right now, and it's starting to get to me a little. Anyway,
it's called water
yes.
and food.
These are flowers that are going to die anyway, but they're in a lot of plant food right now. But anyway, so the Thestrals, the things that are pulling the carriage that now Harry can see because last movie he saw Cedric Diggory die. I do not get the logic behind this thing because here's the thing, folks. They say they only appear to somebody who has seen death, correct?
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure somebody stepped on an ant and saw the dead ant, right? I'm pretty sure somebody could have seen something die here or there.
No, that's not the point I thought you were going to raise.
All right.
He killed the professor in the first year.
Yeah, that one too. He basically saw Professor
Numbnuts.
Quirrell.
Thank you,
Quirrell. He basically saw him get dusted in the first movie, just completely die. And I'm like,
I think there's a condition to that. I think it has to be someone that you're closely connected to, because if you remember, Luna's mother died with Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, him and Cedric did develop a good, close friendship. So therefore, yes, now he can see Thestrals. I think that I don't know all the lore, but I'm drawing from things that seem to make sense.
Here's another thing, too. Why couldn't Harry see him from year one? Because he was cognitive as a 1-year-old. A 1-year-old, believe it or not, does have vision, memory, and cognitive skills. Mm-hmm. He saw his mother die right in front of him. He may not have.
He had enough memory for the Dementors to be able to pull that up.
Yep, he may not have understood what it meant, but he did see his mother die. So there is a bit of problem with the continuity and with the consistency.
But the thing is, it's minor. It's minor. It doesn't affect us. It's minor. It doesn't affect the overall story. Yes, I know you have your thing, Orange. I get it. But it's not going to break the story if every little plot point it lines up exactly. He saw Cedric Diggory die.
JK did explain that he was too young for it to affect him properly for the Thestrals.
Exactly.
When it was his mother. She did explain that part.
Thank you.
Okay, so she did explain it. Are you happy, Ambassador?
Oh, I was fine to begin with. You were the one that was going, me.
Me? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. He's a Gryffindor. He doesn't care about the fiddly little details like we do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a Raven.
Did I test as a Ravenclaw or as a Gryffindor? I guess I did. I don't remember.
Yes, you
did.
Yeah, I did.
Now, all right. So get back to the.
We just get crap done. We don't worry about the details.
Yeah.
I like some of our.
Yeah.
Ron and Hermione are about to square off. And he's like, don't worry, I'll go easy on you. Thank you, Ronald. And
Don't you mean Ron and Hermione?
yeah,
Yes.
that's what I said. Ronald.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It sounded like
Yeah,
you said Harry.
No, it was Ronald and Fred and George doing the bet back and forth. I
Yep.
loved that.
That was hilarious.
And so he raises his wand. She's like, step away. And it's like, damn, woman, you're quick.
Ducks Ron on his ass. It's beautiful.
Oh, I totally let her win.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sure you did. Sure you did, Ron. Just keep telling yourself while you're soaking in the tub later.
Yeah.
And creepy old Moni Myrtle
The girl's laughing about it.
creepy old Moni Myrtle is trying to get a look at your other wand.
And then he's teaching him how to levitate people with Levicorpus, which actually was taught in 6th book, but we won't go there.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you doing?
I was talking to Mongo.
Oh, Mongo. What did he say? More like a Griffin
More
dork.
like Griffin dork.
Anyway.
I know I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I will say this about the Ravenclaws: we are the only one who will get trapped out of their yes, because if you don't get, because the quiz is a quiz that changes all the time, and if you don't get the riddle right, you don't get in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a riddle for the Ravenclaw room.
Yeah.
It's
Or
never changing riddle.
For Gryffindor's League, I just get past a woman who can't sing. Fortuna Major, move your fat ass.
Yeah.
Dare you?
No.
I don't care. Shut up. I want to go to bed. Move your fat ass.
Oh, are you sure you're a Gryffindor and not a Slytherin? You got the cruelty of a Slytherin, man.
I'm not cruel. I'm just blunt.
Lorena's the Slytherin.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes, you have to deliver it. You can be blunt, but you have to deliver it in such a way that the person looks forward to the insult, actually.
Huh.
There's an art to that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Soul assassin.
It's okay, Mongo. So is one of my sisters.
So we're the butt of many jokes. Yeah. He said, poof. Anyway, so she's trying to learn levitation, and she looks back at Harry and causes Nigel to fall. I'm okay. It's like, why haven't they kissed yet? But then at the end of holiday training, Fred and George are trying to ask Harry for permission to poison Umbridge, and it's like, stop doing the prank shit. Just drop some freaking nightshade in her tea or something.
Yeah,
Just
guys, go do whatever.
Could you excuse me? It's like, sounds great, guys. Could you excuse me?
Yeah, you don't see the really hot chick over there.
Yeah, and the way that they walk, I noticed this today. The way they walk away is they have such a crestfallen expression. They're like, "What? We really wanted your approval," and it's like, dude, I don't think he cares right now. He's got one thing on his mind, and that's a little bit of a hoo-ha from the Orient.
And that was something that they left out of the previous movie that I really wish they had touched on.
Well,
just briefly.
They
because the reason why they keep checking in with Harry with all of the stuff is because the winner of the Triwizard tournament gets a huge amount of gold. Harry doesn't need that. He gave it to Fred and George.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he did.
That's because Harry's is boss like that.
Yeah.
Well, that way they can get their joke shops up and running.
Yep.
That's how they got it up and running.
Yes, it's because of his money.
Yeah. And but yeah, holy crap, that was great. Now, so Harry and Cho kiss, and then they're back in the common room. He's like, "What was it like?" Well, wet. I mean, she was great. That bad at it, are you?
No, and then Hermione goes into, well, she had feelings about Harry, and she has feelings about Cedric, and she's worried.
And she's probably feeling conflicted about Cedric. So because of that, it makes her feel sad, and it goes on and on and on and on. And oh,
yeah,
I can look up the exact quote, but yeah.
Yeah,
and
nobody can feel that. They would explode just because you got.
Just because you have the emotional depth of a scone.
Teaspoon.
Emotional range of a teaspoon, man. Get it right.
Excuse me.
Just because you got the emotional range of a teaspoon.
Or the emotional or the memory range of a teaspoon for Ambassador, more like. But hold on.
Hey, DJ.
Oh no. Oh wait.
I didn't do it.
Oops. That was interesting. Let me do. Nope, this way. Yeah? What? Bring it. Anyway, so yeah, they get they get all kissy, and they go back to Grimmauld Place for Christmas, and everybody gets their normal Molly Weasley stuff.
Yes, and they all sit there with, Father looking all bandaged and stuff, and yeah, and to Harry Potter, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And that was, for me, that was such a knife twist, and I know it was unintentional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
then, because they don't realize the connection that Harry has, and he feels guilty.
Harry saw it as if he was the snake, and
And so that's when it comes out with Sirius. He's like, I was a snake. He's like, yeah, thank you for saving my life. Yeah, I was the one that I think I was the one that was trying to kill you there, dude. Yeah. But yeah, they also show something that I wish they had touched on in movie 7, but we'll get to that in a sec. When Sirius is showing the family tree of black, where also shows Bellatrix Lestrange, but right next to her is another blacked out or burnt out photo, which if it wasn't blacked out or burnt out, you would see a direct identical twin to Bellatrix, because believe it or not, Bellatrix is a twin.
Yes.
To Pandora, I believe her name is.
Black surely knew how to pick it for names.
Yeah.
Actually, their mom, the whole lot of them, they were all named after constellations.
Yeah. Or stars. Whew, I'm about to sneeze. I feel it coming on. Everybody else take over.
Andromeda.
Yes, Andromeda. There you go. Now, that's when Sirius drops some serious knowledge and wisdom on him. You're not a bad person, Harry. You're just you're a very good person with which a lot of bad things have happened to.
Yeah, I need that on a postcard or something. Put that on a t-shirt for me.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Now,
I think we all need that on like a postcard or a magnet or something.
Yeah. So then they all get back to, or we should touch on Grop and Hagrid for a moment, because we are getting close to almost being done in 30 minutes. So they introduce Grop, and Hagrid comes back, and they got the slab of meat that he's using to ice his eye with because he has a black eye. And he went to parlay with the Giants, and there was a whole believe it or not, Madame Maxim was in the book. She actually went with him.
That
But
would make
yeah, Grop was. It's like, who did they have for the face of Grop? Because it kind of gives off a little bit of Andy Serkis, but also a little bit of somebody else that I can't really think of.
I don't think it was Andy. I don't think it was Andy Serkis.
I know
I'm
it
not
wasn't him,
sure. I'm not. I'm not sure who it is. It looked like someone we would all know, but it looks like it had been like stretched and everything to the point where you can't quite make it out. And I can't try for me. Hang on. I'll do some research. Give me a couple minutes.
All right. And I love how she's like, Grop, put me down.
Yeah.
Now. It's like
Tony
like,
Maudsley.
Yeah. Who?
Tony Maudsley.
Why is that
Looking
name
to see
so
what he's
familiar?
done. I'm looking him up.
Okay. Thank you, Mads. You beat me to it.
No. Oh, hey, DJ. Good to see you.
Yeah, DJ's been in here for a few minutes, dude.
Yes,
Yeah,
so is
no,
Soul Assassin, which I forgot to say hi to. I am so sorry, my darling. He is a reoccurring actor on Coronation Street.
Never
Plays
heard of
George
it.
Shuttleworth.
Never heard of it.
Eyes looking.
Has he done any major productions?
August.
Soul Assassin put up a good one.
With Mad TV icon.
Young.
That's funny, Soul Assassin.
Yeah. Now, so they get to that, and so he hasn't. Okay, so that's why.
Nothing that's jumping out at me other than Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah. So then we know that Grop is there, and that the centaurs are riled up.
Oh, son of a bitch. Sleepy Hollow.
And then he was in Sleepy Hollow. Okay, we'll have to look that up then later.
The movie or the show?
The one with Johnny Depp.
The movie.
Played Van Ripper.
Oh, alrighty. We'll definitely have to look that up later.
I have no idea who that is, but that's okay.
They're back in training, and they're all doing Patronuses. You see Hermione's is an otter, Luna's is a rabbit, Ron's is a dog that knocks over Neville. Fred and George, I believe. I can't remember what their Patronuses were. I don't think they showed them. But yeah. Then you hear the clinking and the shaking and the booming. I'll make short work of this. Bombarda Maxima. And it's like, everybody get back. This bitch is about to shoot a cannon at us. Because when you add the term Maximo or Maxima to a spell, it amplifies it like 5 to 10 fold.
Hold on a second. Soul Assassin, can you bounce Hulk?
Jesus.
Please, for the love of God, kick this jackass out. I blocked you on Twitter, you asshat.
Of course, there's me sitting there watching that whole scene, and I'm like, just open up another door. It's the room of requirement. It gives you what you want. Open up another damn door.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the room of requirement is you can't. Once you are in the room, you cannot activate the room's many other functions. It only allows you to be in the room. Now, what? Well, wait. You are right. They did go out a side door, but then again, that door or where Filch was, I guess
they showed them going out. They showed them going out a side door.
And they also showed him getting a bunch of freaking zits, and
again.
it was driving her nuts. So Cho, it also shows that she was High Inquisitor bitch, Umbridge, was being very, or she was actually using Veritaserum.
Using Veritaserum on.
on other or on students and whatnot, and that's how she actually found out through from Cho. But also Snape was also giving her false Veritaserum or faux Veritaserum or fake Veritaserum. You find out later on. And I just love how they get it, and then they're in Dumbledore's office, and he's like, "No, you got me." And Harry, noble, tries to save him. He's like, "No, it was all me. It was all me." Very noble of you, Harry. But as you can see, it says Dumbledore's army, not Potter's army. And then he just goes to a full freaking confession as if he actually knew what was going on, which he kind of probably did. But it's like, wow, dude. And I absolutely love. He's like, okay, I will not be going to Azkaban. I mean, it's how do you say it? You're under the presumption that I'm gonna come quietly.
Riley.
And then he winks at Harry and claps his hand with Phoenix right above him.
Wow. That was freaking cool.
That was, and then freaking Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Minister, I know you don't care for him, but you gotta admit it. Dumbledore's got style.
And he just kind of
is one smooth pimp wizard.
Yeah.
All the man needs is a freaking cane.
Yeah.
And some gangster music. He'd be walking.
Get him some bling too.
He already got bling. He's got that chain around his beard or whatever that is. That I'd love to have one of those. Of course, I'd have to have a beard first, but whatever.
Yeah, gotta have a beard first, man. Now, what else? Did we lose somebody? Oh no, it was just him getting on camera. Okay, now, so now Dolores Umbridge is in. Dolores Umbridge is in control, and everybody. She basically has everybody in detention cutting themselves into, or
Harry
cutting
gets
words themselves. Huh?
Gets fed the image of Sirius being.
Yeah, it was when the Weasleys came in. Yep. It was when the Weasleys, when they were taking the owls, and she's hearing a banging outside and then the Weasleys come in and start throwing firecrackers all over. And
I love that scene.
Now, here's something that I wish they would have done by comparison, not to the book, but I want to draw you guys' attention to Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer when she gets knocked into the greenhouse and she screams and all the glass shatters. Mm-hmm. When Umbridge gets or runs out of the place after the dragon is chasing her and whatnot, I wish she would have screamed in frustration and just had all of her educational decrees just shatter around her. It would have been so funny to do that. So everybody is out, and that's when Harry starts getting the vision. And Hermione, she is right. What if Voldemort wanted you to see it? Oh, we lost Mads.
Uh-oh.
Mama Bear, come back, please.
I'm sure she'll be back.
Say what now?
I said I'm sure she'll be back. She may be having technical difficulties.
Sometimes she gets bounced.
There she is.
There she is. There's my Bear. There's my Mama Bear. Now.
Yeah, I went there. I went Robo Bear. So.
Yeah. So then they go to the Flu Network, and this is where things get totally freaking evil. This woman is about to use the Cruciatus Curse on Harry. Not that it would have worked really, because Harry has felt that its effects before. And I'm pretty sure he could have taken it all day. I mean, he actually learns to completely be immune to it in the later movies and books. But yeah, sorry, there's a big vehicle outside. So yeah, you also learn that Snape, or Harry tries giving some code to Snape. He's got pad footwears hidden and whatnot. And she's like, what's he talking about? No idea.
No
No
idea.
idea.
But I also do love that one line. Unless you wish to poison him, which, by the way, I would have the deepest sympathy if you did. I really can't help you. Now, Harry honestly thinks that Snape just completely disregarded Sirius's life. But what he doesn't realize is that Snape immediately went to Dumbledore and said, I think Harry's seeing things, and I think he might do something stupid. Which, well, we all know is the case. All the kids escape from the Inquisitorial Squad after Harry and Hermione lead Umbridge into the Forest to have some very bad interactions with Centaurs.
To show them Dumbledore's secret weapon, as Hermione put it.
Well, and let's just be candid here. Umbridge's Inquisitorial unit, not the sharpest tools in the shed. More like dull ass quills or anything that you couldn't even use to tap out Morse code.
These are the same guys that saw flying cupcakes and didn't think too about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
No kidding. Oh,
Now,
go ahead, Orange. It's okay.
The Centaurs come in, and she just goes, let's face it, she goes full freaking racist on these. On the Centaurs.
You think?
Near human intelligence. It's like, dude, seriously, no wonder they want to kill your ass.
I would.
Potter, tell them I don't mean them any harm. I'm sorry, Professor. I
cannot tell lies.
And Grop comes in, and they're all attacking Grop, and it's like, he's like, what? Oh, okay,
I don't need this. I don't need this noise. Hell with this. I'm out.
Yeah, he's like, so you want the pink thing? Okay, take the pink thing. Just stop shooting me.
Yep, pretty much. And they're shooting arrows at me, and he just pulls one out like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah, it's like rude.
Like, fine, take it.
Fine, take the loud pink thing. It smells funny anyway.
I know, right? It's not worth the pain. Now, so they get back to the bridge, and Ron has a bit of, cleverness, and gives him a puking pastel each. That was clever, Ron. Well, yeah, it's been known to happen. It's like, really, Hermione, just don't point that out. Let him have his moment.
I think she meant it as a way to go type thing, but yeah, it was it was a little bit backhanded.
Yeah. And so they're on the way, or they're like, how are we getting to London? Well, we fly, of course. How did they get on the Thestrals?
Thank you.
They can't see them. How the hell did they get on them?
Hermione doesn't like to fly to start with.
No, she doesn't.
How did they convince them to get on these things that they can't see?
Exactly.
Necessity. You want to get to the mystery, we fly. You don't want to get to the mystery, we don't fly. She's like, screw it, I'm getting on this stupid thing I can't see.
Yeah, it's like, I can't see anything. Do you want to go or not? That's what
do I have to turn the Thestral around?
Get on the damn thing. I can't see it. Get on the thing or you're staying here. I can't see it.
That's the scene I really wanted to see.
Fine, then stay here. We'll go save Sirius and we'll tell him that you were a big old stinky, smelly coward.
Though I did love them showing them flying on it, and Luna just leaning on, just like it's nothing. I love that.
I did too.
And so they get there, and
they find the little glow orb about Harry.
Yep, and you hear a very familiar voice, which is Professor Trelawney, and she's basically spewing out the prophecy, and then you see a Death Eater, but not just any Death Eater. No. It is the blonde Mick Jagger himself, Jason Isaacs, who is also known as Lucius Malfoy.
Okay. All right.
Love him.
If you're comparing Jason Isaacs to Mick Jagger, we're good. If you're comparing Lucius Malfoy to Mick Jagger, dude, we're gonna have words.
That would be illogical.
Yeah, it would. Anyway, he's like, you know, you really ought to know the difference between dreams and reality. And the way that he just runs the wand to dissolve the mask, it's like pure nice symbolism right there, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and then you see, I mean, there is some error in the cinematography where you see her coming up behind him and laughing, but if you really look close, you're not seeing her laughing. You're just seeing her walking up.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a nitpick.
Itty bitty baby.
Baby Potter. And that's when you see
about to miss it. How's mom and dad?
Better now that they're about to be avenged. And the second he lifts his wand, she goes from kind of moves like Jagger. But anyway, she goes from playful to dead serious with her wand up, ready to kill. That's something that I noticed when I was watching the movie again, and it's like, yeah, she knows when to play, but she also knows when to get serious, and no pun intended. But yeah, it's like she's
Too
ready
soon,
to go.
Too soon.
Yeah,
Technically, too soon. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that scene.
Yeah. And so, yeah, then he's like, I waited 14 years for this. I know. And he tries to seduce him with all those lovely words. Don't you want to know the secrets of your scar? And this and that. He's like, waited 14 years for this. I know. Guess I can wait a little bit more. Now! It's like, I wouldn't have said now. I would have just frickin' cursed his ass right there. Wouldn't have said a damn word. But then we see how strong Ginny's spells are. Well, we saw how strong her spells were in the training where she completely just atomizes a damn
Reducto.
training doll. Yeah, with the Reducto spell. Now, Harry, he used that in the Triwizard Tournament. And it severed up a little, or it severed some of the vines that were attacking Cedric Diggory. She uses it and blows up the whole freaking Hall of Prophecy.
She tears the place down.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's all about. I think it might have something to do with intent. Jenny's like, I ain't messing around with these mofos. They just tried to kill my dad and some of my best friends. I'm burning these mothers.
Yeah, it's not my best friend. Yeah, my brother and my man.
Yeah.
Like, screw you, Death Eaters. I'm vaporizing your ass.
Excuse me, that's my man. He doesn't know it yet, but that's my man.
Really quick. Back in when they were sounding for places to go to train, and when Hermione points out that Cho couldn't take her eyes off Harry, if you look closely at Ginny, she looks down for a minute, gives kind of like a pause.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could tell that she actually does feel something for Harry even more. So, yeah. So then they get into the archway room, and well, the Death Eaters have all of them wands to necks and ready to kill. And this is where Lucius basically lets him know. He's like, did you honestly think, or were you naive enough to believe that children stood a chance against us? I'm going to make it plain for you. And this is basically the right kind of villain to do it. It's like, or the right kind of way a villain should act. Give me the prophecy now, or watch your friends die. It's that simple. We're playing you're in the big leagues. We're not screwing around. You do as I say, or your friends are dead.
Or he doesn't do as he says, and they're still dead. And I'll say this for
he said, and he was just kind of riding that high. He's like, yes, I got it. He just does that sharp intake, and then you see Sirius like, get away from my godson. And then it's like all light versus dark with the battle.
Yeah, how the Order of the Phoenix entered was so beautiful.
Yes, it was. It was
and
great.
of course, Moody entering like a boss. And he just takes that step and he goes, BAM!
Yeah, the way that he taps his staff just stuns off the Death Eater. But the way that Tonks came in, where she was pretty much bouncing all over the place when she comes out of her white haze, it's like, yeah, you know she's raring to go. And she was the one that was going after Bellatrix, but Bellatrix was left. She's like, you're out of your league. I mean, as much as and here's the reason why she was going strictly after Bellatrix, because Bellatrix is her aunt.
Yep.
Oh boy, can you say about a rift in the family? Wow.
Andromeda is Nymphadora's mother.
Oh man, talk about a rift in the
So,
family.
yeah, there is a lot of bad blood.
Yes.
In that family. And yeah, Nymphadora is actually related to Sirius, and Sirius is related to Bellatrix, and Bellatrix is related to everybody else. And it's just all one big happy family of murderers and killers and whatnot. So yeah.
But you know,
go ahead.
I was just gonna make one quick comment. I will say this. Those kids gave those damn Death Eaters a run for their money. So to Lucius, go screw yourself, you pompous prick.
I will say, yeah, he did actually.
No.
They did give him a little bit of a run, but they were not. He's right. They didn't stand a chance if they got serious. If not Sirius Black, but if they actually decided to get serious.
Yeah, I get you.
I'll just add something here. I really don't think that Sirius Black is not Sirius Black. I really don't think Lucius Malfoy is a prick.
All right.
He's very, very confident. Yeah, he can kind of be, kind of like an asshat. But then again, when you have people who are extremely privileged and who think that privilege only remains with them, there's a certain kind of haughtiness that goes with that. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're a prick.
True.
But they are who they are.
Yes.
Well, for alliteration's sake, I said pompous prick. When I say prick, I pretty much mean asshat as well. For me, they're pretty much one and the same. So,
okay. So
anyhow, go ahead.
Anyway, so him and Sirius are dueling another Death Eater. I can't remember his name. And Malfoy, and Harry disarms Malfoy of his cane, not of his wand, and I'm like, yeah, good one, James, except that you're not James, which means Sirius was getting carried away and forgetting where and what he was, basically, or when he was, and by doing, or kind of a dint of fate or karma or whatever you want to call it, Bellatrix came in, pulled the Avada Kedavra, put him right in front of that, or hit him right in front of the veil. And it seems that if you really pay attention, the veil kind of just wraps itself or reaches out to wrap itself around him and pull him in. Where in the book, he just falls right into it from getting hit. Now, this is where things start to get real serious, folks. She is walking backward, looking to what happened to Sirius, kind of like, all right, so falls the House of Black. But then she sees Harry and she starts chuckling, and then she sees that Harry has murder in his eyes, and she's like, okay, time to go. And so she's all sing-song. Because if you really look, she's like, oh, I don't like the look he's giving right there. I better get the hell out of here. So then she gets hit with a Cruciatus curse. I mean, Harry is, at this point, reeking of wanton vengeance. I still can't believe how satisfying his death was. I laughed so hard. Oh, you're just trying to trigger people. Shut up, ABC. But Soul Assassin sounds like so. Thanksgiving at the Black House must be intense. Sounds like something that Jerry's. Good one, Lorena. That one was good. Props to you.
Yeah, Soul Assassin, Lorena, that was good. I won't lie. ABC.
Yeah, but So then he hits her with a Cruciatus curse, and this is where the book really diverges from the movie. She's like, or she fires right back at him. She's like, "You really got to mean it, Potter. That was barely even a tickle." But then Voldemort comes in, and she's like, "Okay, fine, whatever. Let him take over." But in the movie, she's at his mercy. She's actually worried, and until Voldemort actually comes in, when she then starts laughing. So Voldemort just basically waves away Harry's wand right out of his hand. It's like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Well, as powerful as Voldemort is, it makes sense.
Well, considering you can't use those two wands against each other, he would have to use a different technique to get the wand out of his hand. So yes. Then the best freaking entrance ever.
Oh. Yes.
Dumbledore comes in. "You're a fool to come here tonight, Tom. The Aurors are on their way, by which time I'll be gone, and you'll be dead." And then it's just... Now, if you notice what Dumbledore does when they start throwing spells, he pushes Harry away. He shoves Harry aside. And as their spells are locked, you see Voldemort shoving or whipping his hand out, causing lightning to fork towards Harry to try to get to Harry and whatnot. And then you see the fiery snake and then the water, and Harry gets up to look at to following Dumbledore, and Dumbledore sees this, and what does Dumbledore do? Shoves him right back away again. It's like, stay back. This is the big boys fighting. Sit your silly ass down.
Yes.
So then, well, you get the real dark spell that shatters all the glass. I mean, they really abridged the battle that was in the book, because he was bringing statues to life. He was bringing all sorts of stuff or this battle was something that was wicked in the book. Wicked. Anyway, so he realizes he's not going to win this, so he tries another tactic. Possession. Let's just go full demon and just possess Harry. And Harry honestly thinks he's gonna die and whatnot, and he's getting jabbed, and you see freaking Voldemort going, yeah, ha. And it's like, and then Dumbledore's like, "It's not how you are alike, it is how you are different."
Right.
Yeah, he wouldn't have pointed this out a few years ago. You know.
I know, right? And so that's when Harry...
You knew he was struggling with this, in the second movie.
And then
Sorry.
there's that big swirl of slow motion, and I'm guessing that Dumbledore can't see through that, where it became too painful for Voldemort to stay inside of him. He's like, "You're a fool, Harry Potter, and you will lose everything." And then he gets out because he notices everybody's coming in, and Cornelius is like, "Well, that thing's gone. He's back." It's like,
no kidding.
Oh shit, Sherlock.
Exactly.
The way he says it, he's like, "He's back." It's like, you think?
Duh.
Now I just wish that they had covered it the way in the book as they did, or for the movie, where Harry is just really freaking pissed. He's letting it all out on Dumbledore's trinkets and toys and whatnot. And he's like, "Go ahead, break all this stuff. I dare say I have too much." And he's like, Harry just wants to rage at Dumbledore, but he realizes he can't. And Dumbledore does lay on him some hard facts and whatnot, and he does also tell him, "I do care too much about you." And he asks him about the prophecy. He's like, "That prophecy was not the only that's not the only record of that prophecy." and he pulls out the pensieve and his memory. In the book, he does this and shows the full prophecy as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, that prophecy was said strictly right before me. I was right there when that prophecy was read out loud. And it was by Trelawney. So, yeah.
That's how
Now-
she got the job, actually.
Hmm?
Now, I do have a question for those of you that know this better than I would. With Trelawney, is the reason that her ability is somewhat diminished is because part of herself is in that orb? And everything, because
No.
she doesn't seem quite as sharp as she normally would and everything, or quite as coherent as she is when you hear that prophecy written. Or is there a different explanation?
How we see her normally is just who she is. That's how she was when she went in front of Dumbledore for the interview.
Oh, okay.
It's just during that interview is when the prophecy hit. And that's how she got the job.
Okay.
Because he wanted to keep that near him.
Well, not
Okay.
just that. He also wanted to keep her safe.
That too.
Okay.
Now, so then he explains what he was doing all year, why he felt that if Voldemort made the connection, he would try to use it against, or he would try to use Harry as kind of a spyglass. And it was true because he did. That's how he got Harry to go to where he wanted him to go. Now, in the movie, this is where basically they end the movie. They end the movie, everything's all well and good, and they're all leaving Hogwarts. In the book, I want to touch on this. They get back to platform 9 3/4. You see the Dursleys waiting for him there, and
First, don't
everybody.
forget about Malfoy's reaction because his dad got arrested because of that.
Yep, he's basically like, "I'm going to kill you, Potter. I will kill you." And it's like, "Bitch, please, shut up, go away."
Yep.
But at the platform 9 3/4 where Dursleys are waiting for him, the Order comes up to him and says, "We know you've been mistreating Harry, and it's going to stop. You're going to start treating him with a lot more respect, or we will find you." Basically, they all decided to say enough was enough with the Dursleys. They basically came out and said, "You're going to start respecting him, or we're going to give you a little visit, and it's not going to be a pigtail." But yeah, I wish they had put that.
Yeah. Now that I hear that, I would have loved to see that myself. I mean, damn. Yeah, bring it, please. Give this kid a freaking break.
The Order. Yeah, the Order completely went to bat for Harry when he went back to platform 9 3/4 to the Dursleys. They basically said, "You're either going to treat him with respect."
Yeah, I believe it was Mad Eye that said it too.
Oh yeah,
I'd have to look it up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Mad Eye.
Man, Mad Eye says that you listen. Because that Mad Eye movie is not a man you want to screw with.
That scared the hell out of me. Like, yeah, you are going to frickin' listen right now. You're going to do as we tell you. You're going to treat him kindly, and you're not going to give him any more shit. And the thing is, we know that Mad Eye would do it. He would break every frickin' law. But yes, folks, we are at the 2-hour mark. So any finals? So now we are going to do this. How would you guys rate the movie? We'll start with Lorena.
Oh, sorry. I thought I had my mute on. I actually rated this one a bit lower. It was kind of like an 8 for me. It wasn't my most favorite, and I really can't put a logical finger on it. It's just kind of just like with me, just like a feeling, and I do it with like rewatchability. Like with Prisoner of Azkaban, I love to watch that one over and over. I love that one. With Order of the Phoenix, I was kind of one and done. And And this has to be the first movie that I saw where I'm just like, you know what? I need to read the book because I feel like there is just too much stuff that
Yes.
I'm missing, and that the film doesn't truly capture. And I actually have the book on Audible, and I'm starting to get those gaps filled in now. So I'm like, okay, I wasn't crazy when I watched this. So for me, it's about an 8.
Yeah. Mads?
Honestly, I think eight's about on target there, because you and I both know they skipped over a lot of stuff.
Oh, yes.
I mean, even just how he finds out about Neville's family. That
Mhm.
alone was a scene that should have been done.
Yes, they should have brought.
Instead of glossing over it like they did.
The 2 lines, yeah, that really aggravated me. I'm like, this is some heavy stuff.
Yeah. Also, I did want to touch on something, but I'll let Ambassador do his rating first.
Honestly, I give it an 8, but I give it an 8 for a different reason than my 8 is anything more along the lines of, did I enjoy this? Would I rewatch it? Did I feel like it did a good job presenting the source material? Yeah. Honestly, I'll say this. I wish, or if they haven't already, I wish they would do like extended cuts or director's cuts of all these movies if they haven't done it already, and release them on like Blu-ray or 4K or something. I would buy it. I mean, we've got the entire set on Blu-ray, but if they ever did an extended edition of all these, anything that added in more of more material from the books, I'd buy it. I mean, for heaven's sakes, they did for Lord of the Rings. Why not do it for Harry Potter?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's my rating. I give it an 8. I maybe give it an 8.5. So
That is basically where I put it too. The 8, or from a movie reviewer, I give it an 8.5, because there are digital effects that they could have done better, because they do digital effects very well in some areas. In other areas, it was not very well done. Subjectively, the first one was objective. Subjectively, I'd give it a 9. Although there is a lot missing, it's still kind of enjoyable, but I'm also not really a fan of Umbridge. Also, this is one of my least favorite movies. Even with the flashy fights and whatnot, it's still not enough to make it good. Because I just cannot stand Umbridge. Moviegoer, I'll give it a 9.5, because it does, for Harry Potter fans, it's enough to keep you engaged. It's enough to want you to watch and whatnot. And it's, for a general moviegoer, it's fun for most people to watch. Now, the couple things I wanted to touch on which was not touched on in the movies, was the prefects of why Ron got chosen to be a prefect, because Dumbledore does bring it up to Harry. He's like, did you ever wonder why I didn't make you a prefect and I made Ron a prefect? Well, Ron sees himself as following in your shadow all the time. So I felt that it was something to give to Ron to kind of boost him up, so to speak. And what was the other thing that I wanted to touch on? Also, they never did the date between Harry and Cho Chang, which was a completely awkward date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, it would have been hilarious, because it's a bunch of 15-year-olds. But yeah. Anyway, any last things before we go, folks?
Other than, I know everyone keeps saying it, and I've said it before, like even in the green room, we're supposed to hate Umbridge.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to hate her well beyond Voldemort, because she is somebody. She's a teacher. I know that's not what what she is originally, but that's what she becomes in the book. So she is somebody that these people are entrusting their kids to, and she tortures the children. She is betraying a very basic trust, and that's why we're supposed to hate her more, even more than Voldemort. or Bellatrix.
Oh my gosh. Soul Assassin, seriously? She had we all know that she had a crush. We all know that she had a crush on Cornelius. And it is kind of sad that Cornelius didn't give her the D, but yeah. Lorena, any last thoughts? Well, she put it in the chat, definitely. But yeah, Lorena.
I don't know, maybe somebody has a frog fetish.
They oh god, I just realized my mic was down. They really did boomer moment. They really did a great job with Dolores Umbridge. If you can hate a character with a passion like that, the writing has to be extremely good.
Yeah.
So I love to hate that chick. So that's probably the best thing about this movie to me.
Yeah. Soul Assassin, any last brief thoughts? Or Soul Assassin. Ambassador, sorry. Geez.
I was going to say, I thought he just gave one.
Over moment.
Oh, Soul Assassin gave a thought too.
Yeah. Just tell him the facts. Yeah, he did.
Hey, Orange, you'll get this. Lay off the bitch. It messes with your head.
Yeah, thanks.
As far as my final thoughts for this, yes, I hate Dolores Umbridge. And if I had been a student at Hogwarts while she had been there, I would have made her life a living hell. And if she put me in detention, I would have used one of those blood quills, and I would have written, "Umbridge is a bitch. Umbridge is a bitch. Umbridge is a bitch." And I guarantee you, it wouldn't write it, and therefore, it wouldn't work on me.
Probably.
Yeah, it would just chap her ass. Or even if it did work, it would be worth it. Hey, Umbridge.
Yeah. Just show her fist.
Every time she walked past me, hey, Umbridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, and of course, the big dogs get to come out and strut. And I love it.
Yeah.
Dumbledore v. Voldemort.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore with the W.
The only fight that never happens either in the movie or the book that I really wanted to happen in this one was McGonagall versus Umbridge.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to see that so bad.
McGonagall would have wiped the floor with her.
That's why I wanted to see it.
Wipe the abs. Bombada Maxima. Avada Kedavra.
Oh, she wouldn't have
I
used
guarantee McGonagall would have pulled it out. McGonagall would have pulled it out just once.
She's the transfiguration teacher. She could have turned her into so many things.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to know what I would turn her into.
She would have turned her into a damn toad. And then she would have turned her into a water goblet.
Mm-hmm. Bit of it.
Looks like Gal Gadot, then maybe I'll let her torture me. All right, my final thoughts. Oh, the Neville Longbottom thing that Dumbledore actually talked to him about. I wish they would have put that in. He's like, did you ever not wonder why Neville Longbottom is without or always goes with his grandmother and not his parents? And I just wish they had gone to St. Mungo's for it, because he's like, they're not dead, they're insane. And yeah. Also, something that was actually put in this book but not in the movie, Neville could have totally been Neville's story, because Neville was born on the same day that Harry Potter was born.
Close. It was. I don't know if this is the exact same day, but it was close enough.
It was the exact same day.
When they refer to Harry as the chosen one, it's actually quite literal.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he was chosen by Voldemort.
Yeah, it was Voldemort that decided Harry was going to be the problem.
Yep.
If he had decided it was going to be Neville, this would have been a completely different story.
Yeah, it would have been a lot darker, dystopian even. Alrighty, folks.
No,
We
then
do
would have
gotta
been
wrap
Harry's
it up
parents.
here.
It would have been Harry's parents that were in St. Mungo's.
Yep. We do got to wrap it up here because there's something you wanted to say.
I have one more thing, and then
Master?
we can end. If I was McGonagall, I was
What?
going to turn Dolores Umbridge into anything. I would have turned her into a yeast infection, and then put that yeast infection inside a female centaur.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll
On that
end
note.
on a very X-rated weird note, but yeah, sure. Folks, thank you for all tuning in. ABC, Soul Assassin, AFK, many others. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys are freaking amazing and awesome people. Thank you. I want to thank all my panelists, Ambassador, Lorena, Mads, and even those who weren't here but were here in spirit, Moira Kitty and AFK Bard. Hopefully we'll see them next or in 2 weeks for year 6.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, folks, if you catch this on the replay, y'all know the drill. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz.
Mhm.
Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you think of the movies? Did you like them? Did you not like them? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? All that stuff. Anyway, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews and Panel. Wishing you a good night and stay humble.
Night.